Good day, everyone, and welcome to our presentation entitled Windows Server 2008 under the course System Administration and Maintenance in BIOS Info for WAMAD 2.
For the overview of our report, we have the introduction, security features, virtualization, data assurance, admin data center user restrictions, takeaway, and conclusion. For the members of our group, we have Albanyo Ricjan P, Alcantara Gideon V, Bautista Lawrence C, Belarmino Ian D, Catley Clark David M, Kauyan Andrew P, Crystal Vince Allen D, Markel Eugene Paul S, Masa Prince Darrell M, and Misa Giancarlo S. Introduction, Windows Server 2008 is a server operating system from Microsoft and a major architectural and technological upgrade. So, sobrang laking upgrade talaga and shift nitong Windows Server 2008 kasi may mga bago siya features na nila compared do sa mga old Windows Server na na-release before ito. And next point is it marked a significant shift in enterprise computing by introducing foundational features that persisted for the next decade, including the Hyper-V virtualization platform. So, sobrang laki talaga ng impact nung Windows Server 2008 na, sa ating technological advancement. Kasi, hindi lang yung mga bagong features niya tulad no naging epekto niya sa enterprise computing at yung mga foundational features na nakakatulong niya dun sa current nung time na yon. Yung Hyper-V virtualization din ang pinakamaganda niyang naitulong dahil yung Hyper-V virtualization platform na-allow niya na magkaroon ng many virtual machines and kanya-kanyang operating system sa isa lang na physical server, and sobrang laki ng tulong nito upang maka-multitask. Ibig sabihin kasi hindi na natin need na iba't ibang computer or iba't ibang device para lang makakagamit na iba't ibang version ng ano. And next is, this platform emphasizes three key areas: enhanced security, powerful virtualization, and robust centralized management. So, meron siyang three key areas. Yung enhanced security, mas maganda yung security niya compared sa other sa Windows Server. Mas powerful yung virtualization niya dahil lalo na dahil doon sa Hyper-V virtualization platform niya. And yung robust centralized management niya pa.
So, now I'm going to discuss the security features of the Windows Server 2008. One of the primary tools for security of Windows Server 2008 is the Windows Firewall with Advanced Security. It is a stateful defense for granular control over network traffic. The goal is to protect critical assets by creating explicit allow or block rules for services and ports. This firewall acts as a strong defense system that helps prevent unauthorized access and data breaches. So, the process involves using the new rule wizard to block specific traffic such as on TCP port 80. So, for example, they can set rules to block through port 80 or only permit approved programs to communicate with the server. This ensures that only safe and authorized data can enter or leave the system. So, another key governance for Windows Server 2008 was the read-only domain controller. In this security feature, it hosts a non-writable user database ideal for branch offices. This RODC strategy maintains network resilience as the main database is safe even if the branch server is physically compromised. So, this adds another layer of protection by allowing a copy of the user database that cannot be changed. Even if an RODC is compromised, the main server's data remains secure.
And now, let's begin with the accessing or setting up the Windows Server 2008 here in our VMware we downloaded, which is a VMware Workstation Player 17. So basically, we will installing the Windows Server 2008 to finally set up here. So here in our computer, we utilize is, let's open up the VMware here in the VMware Workstation Player. So just click here. And basically, you will set up here using this option, create a virtual machine here in the system, and choose the following files you will utilizing it in the ISO file. So basically, here's the ISO file for Windows Server 2008 R2. So why R2? So R2 is basically the available Windows Server here in the online community, and the Windows Server 2008 is already shut down by the Microsoft itself. So click the next button here to finally set up here, and click the yes. Then you will given a name for the Windows Server 2008 or the virtual machine name, and the location itself. Once you install the following configurations and the files, it will save it automatically in this location. So just click next since I already created it. Then you will set up the specified disk, but here the Windows Server 2008 is the recommended is 40, as you can see in the screen, and split out on virtual disk in the multiple files. This is the recommended in the VMware. Then click next to finish it up, and finally installing it. And now I basically skip the installation of the Windows Server since it is take too long time to install the operating system in the virtual machine, and it is very long enough to this presentation. But here is the interface of the Windows Server 2008 R2 or Windows Server 2008 interface, and basically it is different from the others. As you can see, has this interface, and if you click the start, you will see the following settings and the administrative features, tools, and etc. But basically, the first presentation or first demo we will demonstrate is the security features of the Windows Server. So here in the Windows Server, we will testing the security features of the system. So you need to access first the Windows Server security and the firewall. So just click the Windows security and the firewall here, and click the access. As you can see, we'll open the or navigate the Windows Server firewall with advanced security. But here, our goal is to demonstrate the security features here or creating a rule in the Windows Server. So click the inbound rule here. And as you can see, here's the inbound rule. The inbound rule is basically the he wants the device or the IP addresses or the following websites that you will enter in the system is it automatically blocks or enable to enter the operating system. So here in this demonstration, we need to create a rule here. So as you can see, there's a rule type. So click the port since we will utilize later in the testing phase. In the port is the port 80 indicated in the system. So just click the port here and then click next. Just out of here. Then specify the port that you will utilize. So I use the 80 since it's the default port in the system or saved in the system. So as you can see, this a TCP port or the transmission control protocol. Since in our testing phase, we will utilize the IP address of it to tell you if it is block the IP addresses or the other another host computer can be utilized the IP address of this operating system in the VMware. So just click next here. Then choose the action you want. So there is an option, but in the system but in this role we want to block the following port having the number 80. So just click here the port to them that we will demonstrate later. Then just click here to know the when does this rule apply. So just click the next. Then the name of the rule. So basically we specify the name of the rule. So block port 80 since we want to block the port 80 here by using computer. So as a description, this is optional. Is blocks port 80. Just click the finish. So as you can see, it is enabled in the system. But first is we need to utilize the we need to add roles so that it can be fully seen in the testing phase. So go to the Windows Server Manager or the Server Manager itself. Just click the roles here, and then once you add the roles, just click the before you begin. Just click the next part. Then select the web server. Says we will utilize the web server to in the testing phase so that it can demonstrate the testing phase of the blocking of the port 80. So just click next here. So it is an introduction for when Windows Web Server IIS. Just click the next, and this is the following configuration in the features that we will install together with the Windows Server. Just click the next here and install. So just wait for the installation of this Windows Web Server ISS. And now it's the installation succeeded. Now let's go back to the Windows Server or the Windows Firewall with Advanced Server Security. So go to the command prompt and go and click and to know the IP address of it. So basically we need to do the ipconfig command. So as you can see, it has the IPv4 address here in the operating system. This is we will use this in the testing phase. And now let's demonstrate the testing phase if the rule is enabled or working in the other's computer. Basically, in this inbound rule that is enabled, it blocks the port 80 in the host computer. It cannot be accessed in the host computer. Basically the IP address of this operating system in the VMware. So let's go to the CMD of this host computer. Then type telnet since it has the IP address of the operating system in the or the Windows server in the VMware. So go to the to another part to see the IP address here that we opened earlier. So it has the 192.168.214.132. So just type here 192.168.214.132. Then type the port 80. Since it has a port 80. So let's check it first. So 192.168.214. Then click next. Then demonstrate the connection here. And basically, it will say it cannot be accessed or it automatically blocks in the command prompt. So once it is block, it should be has the following connection here or the feedback message. And as you can see, it could not open the connection to the host or port 80 connected failed. But if we enable this rule in the operating system or the Windows Server 2008 If you enable this rule, so just click disable the rule to fully know if the telnet 192.168.240.132.port 80 is accessible now. So just click the copy here. Just copy and as you can see, it opens. And now we will demonstrate you the testing phase also in the browser side. And as you can see, the rule is disabled now, and it should be accessible in the browser. So just type this URL in the browser, and this is basically the IP address of the Windows Server 2008 in the VMware, and it is port 80. So as you can see, it demonstrates a picture of II7, which is we installed the earlier part, which is the web server ISS. This is the ISS 7. But if you enable the rule again in the system, just click the enable here. And basically, if we reload this, as you can see, it loads too long, meaning that the Windows Server or the web browser is locating it again. So as you can see, if we type the IP address here, the port 80, and you see that it locating the part of the of this, and basically it will be blocked, or it cannot be accessed in the web server again. And as you can see, the site cannot be reached, meaning the rule is automatically able now in the system. And that's for the security features of the Windows Server. And I hope you learned the part of the security features of the Windows Server.
Now, let's move on to virtualization, one of the most powerful features of Windows Server 2008, and the process begins by installing the Hyper-V role through the Server Manager, and this step enables the server to host multiple virtual machines or operating systems on a physical server. And next, we have a virtual switch, and it is configured inside the Hyper-V Manager po, and this allows the virtual machines to connect and communicate with the physical network just like real computers would. And finally, we use the new virtual machine wizard to create a virtual machine, and here the administrators can assign a name, sets the memory allocation, and also creates a virtual and hard disk for storage. And once the setup is complete, the new virtual machine is ready for installation and testing of operating systems or applications, all within an isolated and secure environment. And these features have organization, save hardware costs, improve testing efficiency, and maximize the server performance.
And now, our next demonstration is the nested virtualization here in the system, or here in the presentation. So basically, we will nested the virtualization or utilize this operators in this Windows Server version to host another VMware again. So basically, let's go to the Server Manager to firstly install the Hyper-V to access the Hyper-V Manager that we will utilize in the nested virtualization. So click the add roles here in the system, and then just click next, and install the Hyper-V, or just check the Hyper-V. But the preference or the settings before you check this, it should be the virtualization on your computer is on the virtualization in the just in the host computer so that you can install the Hyper-V or utilize the virtualization settings or the feature here in the VMware. So just click the Hyper-V here, and as you can see, this is the introduction to the Hyper-V. So it allows you to virtualize your server workloads by running those workloads on the virtual machine. Then just click next. Just click next here, and confirmation to the installation. So just install the Hyper-V here in the system, and we need to restart the system. And now the restart process is done after the installation of the Hyper-V, and now we will proceed to the Hyper-V manager, since once we install the Hyper-V in the system, it installed also the Hyper-V manager that is available also in other Windows Server. So here, just like the Hyper-V, but here is automatically showed in here in the system. Just click here and just click yes to access it. So now we will do a full screen of it. Now this is the Hyper-V. This is the introduction part. And now let's select the server name of the Windows Server 2008 here. And basically first is we need to add a virtual network or the virtual network that we'll utilize in our new virtual machine. So just click here and make it up. Then add an external, since we need to utilize external virtual network here. So rename it and add some notes. This is external net. And just click apply. Just wait for a few moments. Just click yes. And these changes will be applied. And now as you can see that the connection is in the external net is utilized, since it will utilize to run the virtual server here. So let's go to the new virtual machine. But wizard will be open. Just click next. So add a virtual machine. So basically virtual machine. Just name it virtual machine. Next. Followed by this specified memory here. But as you can see that automatically same as before in the installation part of our virtual machine. Just click next and configure network. Then this is we created early the virtual machine, so utilize it. Then click next. Here in the system to locate the system. Just click next again and finish it up. And creating this is the virtual machine here. So basically, just turn off. Just click here and go to the action button start. So now, in this process, you need to add the virtual an ISO file to fully show the virtual machine. But this is the process on how to do a nested virtualization.
Next is we have the data assurance. This section shows how to ensure data integrity and resilience using built-in features. Also, it explains how we can protect data and make sure that it stays accurate and available even if problems occur. Also, the goal of this is to prevent data loss through backups and protect against hardware failures using redundancy, which means having a duplicate of the system or a copy of the system for us to avoid and prevent the data loss of our system. Then next is we have the first process is which is the installing of Windows Server Backup to schedule or manually run full or partial server backups. Like as I have mentioned before, the first step is installing the Windows Server Backup, which allows us to schedule or manually perform full or partial backups of the servers, which ensures that if something goes wrong, is that we can restore it or we can restore the data safely. Next is we have the other processes for us to have a backup for our system. Like I have said before, data assurance focuses on protecting and maintaining the reliability of our data. In this case, we use a process called software RAID 1 or mirroring. What this does is that it creates an exact copy of one hard drive onto another identical hard drive. So basically, if one drive fails, the other one still has the same data, which would be able for us to prevent data loss. The next is to set this up. The system administrator uses this management in Windows. Here is that the new hard disk is initialized and both the main and the secondary disk are converted to something called dynamic disk, which allows us to continue the process of mirroring, or this allows us the mirroring process to work. Then, with the help or using the add mirror option on the C drive, all the data is duplicated onto the second disk, which this setups provides fault tolerance, meaning the system can keep running even if one disk fails, and it helps avoid downtime caused by the disk issue. So in short, RAID 1 or mirroring helps ensure that our data stays safe and accessible even if something goes wrong, like a failure in the server or something, which can help us avoid or prevent some data loss on our system, files, and also the hardware.
And now, the third demonstration that we will show to you is the data assure features or the data assurance. So here in the data assurance features, is basically we'll do the backup feature and the RAID feature or the mirroring. So here in the system is basically we will install the features like backup and demonstrate the backup, and starting it with open the server manager. So basically the first thing you should do in this Windows Server 2008 is you will basically add another features here. So just click the add features and select the Windows Server Backup. Just click the checkbox here in the system. Just click next. So just install it. And the installation succeeded. Now, the first thing we should do is open the Windows Server Backup here in the system. Just click the backup. Windows Server Backup. Since the features is already installed, just click here, and as you can see, this is the interface of the Windows Server Backup. You have the multiple options as an admin, such as backup schedule, backup once, and recover. But in this demonstration, we will do the backup once. So just click the different options here. Then add the customization features for choosing custom volumes or file for backup. Since for this full server is recommended, but it takes too long time in this demonstration, but in the custom you will want to add some of the features or you want to back up some or minimal files in the system. So just click the custom, click next, then add items. Just click the local disk here. So this is the local disk, but you can select the others. here in the system. But here, I want to utilize only the system. Okay. Then just click next here. Then select the local drives. Choose the type of server for the backup. Then just click next and backup. So basically, it backups the system and the status is preparing none. Okay. But basically, it has no files yet. That's why it has this media non-writable. Okay. Just close it already. And the backup should be started backup once. This is the installation for the backup once of the Windows Server. But the status is not scheduled since the total backups or the copy in the local disk has no copy yet. But this is the process that you should utilize in the system. And now for the mirroring part is we basically just add a virtual new disk in the system that we will utilize to copy the following file in the disk manager. So just click the VMware to add here. Just click the player here and manage. Then go to the virtual machine settings. So basically it has one virtual hard disk in this virtual machine. So we need to add one to utilize in our RAID or in the mirroring process. So here just click the next here. So add a hard disk. Just click next. This is recommended SCSI. Then followed by that, create a new virtual disk and assign a virtual machine option. So this is 40, similar to the others. Just click next. Then the disk file is this. And just click the finish. So now it adds the virtual machine here or the new hard disk. So now let's go to the server manager again. So in the server manager, you will see the options such as Windows Server Backup and disk management. So let's go to the disk management. So as you can see, it's not installed yet. But in the system or in our virtual machine, it already add. So just click add again. Let's go to add again. Let's click next. Similar process earlier. Then click OK. And as you can see, it has this number one in here. So to configure this or to do the readme, the first thing we need to do is make it online. Since it is not online, it is offline. Since the this or the CD-ROM is already online. So we need to online it. And next thing we should do is initialize this one. This one is select it. Then it will turn to basic. Now, the next thing we should do is convert this 0 to dynamic disk and select it. Convert the following. And now, it is already the 2 is already in dynamic phase or dynamic type. So to do the RAID mirroring or the mirroring here, so basically you should add a mirror. Just click right click the dialog box here and add the mirror. Then you should add this mirror, this one. So basically it will turn red once it mirrors. So basically it is syncing, and this is the process of the RAID mirroring as part of the data assurance feature.
Admin Data Center. This section covers integrated monitoring tools used to maintain system health and inform strategy. The goal is to show how administrators troubleshoot and diagnose performance bottlenecks. The Server Manager console acts as a primary dashboard, offering a high-level status overview and access to other tools. The Event Viewer is the server's logbook, used for detailed troubleshooting or by reviewing errors, warnings, and information events. The Performance Monitor provides real-time diagnostics by tracking live system metrics. The process involves adding counters such as percent processor time or available bytes to pinpoint the exact cause of a slowdown.
So the fourth part of our demonstration process is the demonstration of the admin center features. So basically, we will show to you the server manager, event viewer, and the performance monitor. So here, as you can see the server manager here, and we have the following such as roles, features, diagnostics. So roles is basically the earlier part. You will add the following roles for the Windows server such as the Hyper-V, web server, ISS, and etc. For the features is we utilize it in adding the features like this. The following this is .NET, and it is utilized in the system. So just click yes to cancel it. Then for the diagnostic, you will see the following events such as event viewer, performance, device manager. Then there's a configuration such as the task scheduler, the Windows Server file that we utilize in our security features, services, WMI control, and storage for the Windows Server backup, and this local that utilized earlier in the third demonstration. So here in the diagnostics, as you can see, it has the event viewer and the performance. So if we click the event viewer, there is a following this. Then you will see the Windows log. So in the Windows log, as you can see, basically the Windows log is it logs the following activity that you are in the system, such as in the application, security, setup, system, and forward events. But here, as you can see, if we further expand this, you will see the following applications here. And as you can see, if we see the application or the application, it indicates the following activity that you do. For example, for information number 1 is the event is performance countries WAPMS and were loaded successfully. And it indicates the status of the logs, which is information. But the other types is the warning and the error in the system. Then the date and time, source, event ID, and task category. Same thing with the security. As you can see, it has the following window logs for the audit success and etc. And it's in real-time manner since, as you can see, it records the date and time of the activity. And now, let's proceed to the performance part of the server manager to fully visualize the part of the admin center features in this Windows server. So basically, this event viewer is utilized with the admin so that to track the following activities before the issue happens. Then, in the performance part is you will expand this to see the following monitor tools. So just click the performance monitor here in the system. Then just click the add here. So basically in this part, in the default, in the Windows Server 2008 R2 or the Windows Server 2008 as you can see, there's no display. Since it is not automatically added by the system, and the admin should manually configure it by adding it using the green plus icon. Then, as you can see, it has many options here. But in this process, we will add the following displays here, such as the processor time. Just add. Then we will add another data that we will visualize in the system. So basically, just click the memory here and go to the memory, then available bytes. Just add it. So as you can see, it automatically adds in here. Then just click OK. So as you can see, that the performance monitor is displaying the clue. So which is the following processor time and the available bytes. So basically, the available processor time is this green one, and the available bytes is the red one. So basically, the other features I already been discussed in the presentation part, such as the rows, features, configuration, and the storage that utilize in other features also, or other administrator features. Basically, it is located in the server manager.
So game. So yung next features natin na itatackle is user restriction. So the process starts by installing Active Directory domain services, which is dcpromo.txt to create a domain. So dito po, yung price natin is nagbibigay by installing Active Directory domain services na nag-aalaw sa atin para mapag-create ng domain kung saan dito natin ma-manage yung user pati mga computer natin. So next, an organizational unit OU is created as a container for a new user. So after that daw po, we created an organizational unit, which is OU, which served as a container for users. So in this example po, we created an OU named My Student. So last is a new GPO is created linked to the My Students OU and edited to prohibit access to control panel, which enforces the rule on all users in that OU. So next daw po is nag-create tayo ng GPO, which is Group Policy Object. And nilink po natin to sa ating My Students organizational units. So inside that GPO po, kinonfigure po natin yung rule na nagsasabi na prohibit access to control panel. So this means po na yung every user natin under My Students OU is automatically restricted from opening or using the control panel. This help ang benefit po nito is nag-help siya ma-maintain yung security and prevents po yung mga user natin sa pag-change sa mga important part dun sa ating system settings. So next is yung padig.
So in the second part of the user restrictions, the process starts by installing Active Directory Domain Service, which is the dcpromo.txt file. And this was installed to create a domain. And after that, the organizational unit or OU is created as a container for the new user. So after the process daw po nung installing ng Active Directory Domain Service natin, magka-create naman magkakaroon ng container. Tapos yung container na yun is ayun yung gagamitin ng new user. Tapos after nun, a new GPO is created. And this will be linked to the My Students OU and edited to prohibit access to control panel, which enforces the rule on all users in that OU.
And now, the last demonstration that we will show to you is the admin and user restrictions. So basically, we will create the following restrictions that the users can access only, and the admin will create these rules or protocols to regulate the usage of the features and block the user on accessing it. So firstly, things to do is we should install first the Active Directory. So let's go back to the server manager here. And as you can see, let's go to the rows again. Then click next. Then as you can see, this is the Active Directory domain services. This is the one we should utilize. So just click add features. to install the other features. Then followed by this is we click to do next. And this is the Active Directory domain services here. Just click next here to install. So just wait for the installation part, and there's an indication that our installation is succeeded. Just click wait for the few moments. And now the installation for the Active Directory domain service is succeeded. And now we need to access the Active Domain Services using the run option here in the Windows Server Manager. So just click start and then type run. Basically, we will open the installation for the Active Server installation wizard. So just type tc promo.exe. Okay. Then first thing you should need to know first is once to install this part is you need to log in as an administrator of the system. So just click the to click delete to install to log in as an admin, and the Windows Server will direct it to you in the administrator part and log in you as an administrator to fully install this part. So just click next here. Then we will create a new domain in a new forest. So basically we will add some of the windows in the system, meaning that once you are creating a local forest in the system, you should be an administrator in the system. So basically, as you can see in the start, I am logged into the administrator part of the system. So for example, we will create a name of the forest root domain, which is mylab.local. So just click, wait for the configuration here. And is verifying the NetBIOS name. Now, we will set the functional level for the forest. So we utilize the Windows Server R2 since it runs the Windows Server R2 here in the system. So just click here and examine the DNS configuration here. See, the next part is the DNS part, and the following is the giving the password and etc. to fully utilize the admin center. And in the later part, we will create the organizational unit, the users under it, and we will utilize the group policy management to create a rule that enables the following features in the system. And now we will assign IP addresses to the external net that we created earlier to proceed in this process. So just click here the control panel. Then we basically search for the network and sharing option, or the network and sharing center. Just click the change adapter settings, then just click this external. Since this is the part that we utilize in our virtual machine. So just right click here and properties. As you can see that it automatically has the IPv4 settings. So just click here. Then use an assign IP. So basically just add the part of it. So we will assign some IP here. So 192.168.10.10. So 168.10.10. Then the subnet mask is 255.255. And the default value is leave it blank. Then we will utilize the preferred DNS here. So just type 01.0.0.1. Just click OK. Okay. And as you can see, it changed the status. So just click next here. And just click yes to start. Then this is the location for database, log files, and system volume. Then add a password for this. Directory services for the restoration mode for the administrator. So just type the password here. And click next. And this is the summary of the installation that we did earlier. Just click next and wait for the DNS installation to finish. And now it is finished. So now it is finished. Let's go to the part of the system. So here basically is we need to finish it, and let's start now to restart it again. And now we will after the installation part of the active domain server services in the system. So we navigate the active users here to create a organizational feature. So just click start the organizational unit. So just click start here. Go to administrative tools. And as you can see, it has the following active directory. But here is we will create first the user so that we basically have the following accounts for the user type, and it will utilize in our group policy management. So just click in the full screen. And as you can see, this is our created domain earlier when we configured the following steps in Active Directory. So just click here to expand and click the just click and add new and just click the organizational unit here. So basically, we will create an organizational unit since it will present as a group of the users. So for example, we name it my students. Then just click OK. And you can see it already had the my students here. And now the my student has been created it will be has the my student, and just right click the organizational unit here and add new user. So basically we will add a new user under this organizational unit. For example, John Simmons. the name of the user, and then just type his user logon name. It will basically utilize in the logon later in the system. Then just click next. Then assign password to him. Then basically just match the password that has been utilized in the password. Then click the password never expires for this option. Then this is the summary. Then click finish. So as you can see, John Simmons user has been created, and this is his user logon, and it basically can utilize in the process later in the system. And now the next thing we should do in this admin user restriction to finally deposit the restriction policy activity here is we will open up the group policy management to create some policy restriction under the users that we created earlier. So just click here, then go to administrative tools, then access the group policy management. So here is the domain that we created. Let's expand it. Then under the domain and sites, so just click the added organizational unit under it. So right click, then create a new policy object or the new GPO. Then name it as control panel block. Basically, we will add some of the restriction that the users of under my student organizational unit cannot access the control panel while they log on or log in. So just click OK. And now, once the new GPO is created, we will right-click the GPO here. Just select it. Then right-click the edit. Then in full mode, then select user configurations. Then policy. Then go to administrative templates here. Let's expand it. Then select control panel. As you can see, this is the configuration under control panel. But here in the system, we want to prohibited or restrict the access to the control panel once the user is part of it. So just double tap or double click it, then enable, then apply. Once applied, just click OK, and it is enabled. Now we proceed in logging on the user preference. And now, once the policy is created in the group policy object under the organizational unit, is we need to verify first that the user should be logged on in the system. To fully log in the user in the system, first is we need to demonstrate the domain controller. Since we, as an admin, we have the privilege to give them an access to the system or in login in this computer. Then right click the GPO here, and only the admin can edit it. Then select the computer configuration policies. Then go to the Windows settings, proceed to user settings or the security settings. Go to the local policies and user assignment. Then as you can see, there's a log on, and only these accounts are being logged in the system, but the user JSIMs or the organizational unit that we select is not in this log on. And basically it will error in the login once it is not in this part of the system. So just click add users, then browse, then go to the advanced mode, then select JSIMS. Just search here. And as you can see, it display in the system. Right click here and it automatically displayed in this dialog box. Just click OK and OK. And as you can see, JSIMS is in the logon user, then click apply. Once it apply, just click OK here and it will automatically apply. Now, we will in the login part of the system. So basically, we will log in the user that we created earlier, which is John Simmons. So click other users here. Then select here the user logon that we assigned for him. Then the password we assign for him or for the user. And now, he log into the system and as you can see, it is the user interface here. And as you can see that we are logging in John Simmons. So basically, we need to verify if the control panel is blocked in here, in this user. Control panel. The search control panel. And as you can see, that there is a restriction. This operation has been cancelled due to restriction in effect of this computer. Meaning that we successfully blocked the user John Simmons in accessing the control panel. And it has an error.
To wrap things up, here are the key takeaways from the demonstration. This highlights the important lessons and insight we gained. First is, in this demo, it highlighted Windows Server 2008 integrated services for a complete enterprise solution. Next, in-emphasize nito yung paggamit ng built-in tools para sa kanyang security, virtualization, and data integrity. So, dito is ginamit natin yung kanyang mga built-in tools instead na mag-rely tayo sa mga third-party software. Next is, goal natin is papakita yung robust, centralized control is a native OS function. Meaning nun is having one main place to manage everything in the system, kagaya ng users, security, and resources. Instead na i-handle natin siya separately on each computer. Sa native OS function, ibig sabihin nun is pinokontrol natin siya without using third-party software. So, nasa operating system na yung kanyang mga tools na kailangan natin gamitin. And the foundation of modern IT. Ibig sabihin nun, important part siya of how modern organizations manage their technology.
In conclusion, Windows Server 2008 provides a foundational understanding of modern server administration. It established core concept of virtualization, directory services, and policy management that remain critical today. Mastery of these features enables administrators to build secure, resilient, and efficient IT infrastructures.
And that's all. Thank you so much for listening.